want to run it at half speed today. I've lost my remote. So it's in the building somewhere, we know that for sure. So it's going to be hard for me to pan and zoom and all that other stuff until I can... Ah, here it is. I knew it was buried. There we go. So anyway, it's Memorial Day. I'm finishing up the Continental wing that I'm doing for a gentleman. And last night, as I was streaming, I was asked by Mike what the compression spar is. So we're gonna discuss this compression spar and Bellcrank install. Now, the compression spar runs between these two, outermost ribs here, or you can run it out to here, and it's about 1 inch wide. I'm using light ply for compression spar. A lot of times we use basswood, but light ply has been fine. But it's glued right up onto the 3/16 spar right here. It's epoxied up to that, and it's epoxied to the ribs. That way this wing can't fold. But on this particular model, because of where the Bellcrank has to be located, I'm going to have to put in a second spar. We're going to put that in approximately right here. And this is where the Bellcrank's going to mount. So, let me cut this up. We'll cut 2 pieces, top and bottom. Drill an 1/8 inch hole for the suspended Bellcrank. These are both light ply as well. You think, well, it could pull out of there. Not a chance. And I'll explain why. Let me cut this. I'm going to have to take a day off and clean the shop. I have so many projects I'm doing all at once, it's hard for me to keep up with what's going on because I don't have enough room here. So now we have our secondary spar here. As maybe you can see, let's zoom that one out. The secondary spar goes in right here. Let me see if this other camera's pointed in the right direction. There it is. Alright. So, how I do this, I just take the scalpel and we're going to make a line right straight down the rib here. You want this to fit pretty snug. This is a nice wing. I wish it was mine. I've only owed this airplane for a year, so I got to get her done. Then we're going to relieve it 1/8 of an inch. You want to make sure that goes down in flush, because this gets glued to the sheeting, or the sheeting gets glued to it as well. When you're doing construction like this, it unitizes, meaning as long one piece is not strong, but the many together in different configurations make it strong. Still not enough. I have another wing over there, a Thunderbolt wing over there. I might put together as well. Give you a better idea how to do this. I don't know about you guys, but I'm getting excited about Brodax. So that's pretty good. That's a little spot right there. And you wonder, why am I taking such care with this particular piece? Because this is what holds the Bellcrank in. We certainly don't want it to pull out. Fred Cornwett called me last night. I think it was last night. We talked about line length and line diameter for scale. Well, my airplane in scale is only going to pull 25 pounds. When incomparable, if it was stunt, I'd be pulling 55 pounds. So I always build these setups to take 100 pounds. Now this is not really necessary, but I'm going to add it anyway. Just 4 pieces of quarter, a little added extra surface for that to sit on. On the outside. Like I say, this is not a necessary piece, but I want plenty of surface for the epoxy to glue to. I'm hoping that the movies that I do are helping. You know, I just don't know. Ouch, hot. Only somebody who works with CA would know what I was talking about, it being hot. It kicked off and it was hot. So there you have that. Now we'll flip it over and do the other side. We're also going to talk about these landing gear blocks. If you'll notice, I'll explain it. The plate itself, right here, is a 1/8 inch piece of aircraft ply, 7 ply. And it's actually metric. I got it from Wix Aircraft. And it's cut to the size we need for the floor. Then I have a piece of maple motor mount, and if you'll notice here, I've ground the extra motor mount away into an angle because we don't need a big piece of square motor mount, you know, standing up there. We just need enough that the wire goes down through. Then it's epoxied on there with the 1/8 inch piece of basswood, front and rear, with the 1/8 inch groove for the piano wire left inside. So I'll drill a hole here and 2 screws for 440 bolts, and we'll epoxy this down into this hole as well, making sure that it still fits. Yeah, it fits, but it's a tight fit. So now I'm going to do the other side of this apparatus. It's 3.5 up. Top. Top sheet. So 3.5 up. And do the same thing. Okay. Change his blade. You'll notice some different graphics in the new movies. I got a trial subscription to After Effects, and I don't know what I'm doing. It takes forever to make this stuff, but I know these movies are boring, at least they would be for me. But hopefully somebody's getting something out of them. That one's good. This one's a little. Okay, now we have to look at the geometry of this bell crank. Where's going to be the best location? That's probably going to be right there. And we're going to drill an 1/8 inch hole down through there. I just hold them together and drill them out. That way both holes are in the same exact spot because you drill them together. That's a pilot hole. I need to get the 1/8 inch hand bit. Maybe. There we go. 9/64. Eighth inch. This will probably give you a better explanation of how a suspended bell crank works than I've seen. I don't know. Anyway, we want to get those two little blocks that I put in on the other side. And remember, it's not absolutely necessary to do this. I'm just doing it as a added bonus. For glue area. I'll try to get this video up to date. I'll try to be a little more vigilant on getting my videos out. Now you notice that this hole is off center, but that's okay. I need to turn that camera just a smidge. How can I do it? There we go. Yeah. Yeah. Yep, after this video is done, I'm cleaning the shop no matter what. It's ridiculous. Okay, suspended bell crank. Pretty simple. Comes with the parts when you order from Tom. I haven't drilled this bell crank yet, so I really can't mount it permanently. And I need some pieces, so it won't get completely installed until after Brodax. But let's do this. So the first thing you have is a piece of piano wire. Then goes a washer. Well, actually, should have done it this way. Wheel collar. And we used to solder grommets on it, but got a burr on it. Well, for some reason this set screw's locked in there. So, wheel collar on the rod. Then a washer, then the bell crank, then a washer, and a wheel collar, what the heck? It's a different size Allen wrench. Can't win today. Just take it out. Don't need it anyway. Okay. We'll put it in the center of this wire. Then we have to figure out how much of this wire has to stick through. So, I'm just mocking it up now, and then we're going to put on some fuel line. So now you want to make sure everything clears, so you test it out. Oh, this. Why are we having difficulty here? So, it doesn't quite clear, so we're going to have to relieve this area here. There we go. That's the spot right there. So now, once you've figured out where the bell crank has to be, you're going to need to cut pieces of fuel line to space this wire and the collars. So I just hold it up there and eyeball it. Give it a snip. Put the fuel line over the wire here, and that'll hold the rod from moving up and down between the bearers here. And I can't stress it enough, you have to be particular when you're doing this. And we'll get it set. I'll drill that bell crank, I guess. And we're going to need a piece of ribbing on the top, 3/8 of an inch. I'm going to hold this up to the camera. I'm not sure if it'll take. but it'll give you an idea. I'm going to get some clamps here. We'll get a clamp and hold this in, and then I'll give it a try and see what we need to clearance. Having a heck of a time. Do it like that. So let's give it a test pull. That clears everything. It's free. We got. You'll notice here it hits on the back side. Now it probably won't use that much throw, but it'd be best to clearance it anyway. So now it'll go all the way around. You want to make sure the wires don't rub anywhere. And it's free. So, I'm going to hold it up to the camera here. Hopefully you can see it. We have the spar here on top, the wire, a piece of fuel line, a collar, a washer, the bell crank, and the same on the other side. So that the wheel collars and the tubing don't allow the bell crank to slide up and down inside that apparatus. Pretty simple. And this floating bell crank will never pull out. Never. And the reason being is, not only is it unitized to the sheeting, when I glue the sheeting on, this is the bottom. So we have the sheeting glued to this and the ribs. Then we also have the fuselage sides here with a strip of light ply, this wide would be fine, epoxied on top of the, actually I cover these wings first. It gets a double section of polyspan on it, and then the fuselage, and then there's a brace that goes on top between the fuselage sides. And we'll just use this piece as an example. Just like that, with a hole in it. So it's unitized and it cannot possibly, zero chance of it pulling out. Zero chance of this wing folding up. So, at least here. Now, a lot of the guys have a problem with the wings folding because they sand the sheeting out here, and the wing doesn't fold in the center. It'll fold right on the, a foot out. The edge of the wing will pull up, and the reason for that is they've sanded the sheeting. So the solution is sand your sheeting before you put it on. Put the sheeting on and don't sand it again. You don't want to sand, it's already 1/16 of an inch. You're not ever going to be able to take any weight off of the airplane by sanding the sheeting. All you're going to do is give it a starved horse look and weaken the structure. So there's absolutely no reason to sand sheeting out here. So I think that's going to do it for the Memorial Day video. I'll edit this up. Probably take an hour or so to edit it up. And we'll get it loaded up. And I wish you, a happy Memorial Day. I want to thank all the, I'm a veteran, but I want to thank all the veterans for their service. And great remembrance for those who have paid the ultimate sacrifice. So, till I see you again, fair winds, tight lines. See ya!